When I first began my journey learning animation, I expected it to be a time-consuming process and that it would, of course, take lots of patience. However, what I didn't expect is that a 2-second animation would take me almost 2 hours. Ugh. Hello my stars and welcome back to another video of me suffering for your entertainment. This was supposed to be a January video, but as you can see I'm a day late, but shush, we'll pretend it's January 32nd. And as I've already mentioned, I went to more animation practices. And boy oh boy is my hand still cramping. In my last animating video, which you totally check out if you haven't, I began experimenting with the walk cycle. And if you've already watched it, you'll know that it wasn't the best. However, that didn't stop me from trying again. I found this video on YouTube, which is 10 years old, but it did help me get a base structure for what I needed to do. As always, we start the key poses, which already makes the character look like it's walking, but of course, it still looks very lifeless. Then we can already add the in-betweens, which is, by the way, key information for everyone. For each step, there are 4 frames, but 2 of those frames will have different placements. What I mean by that? Well, I think I had to adapt it was the fact that the head lowers down in one frame and goes higher up in the other. The bounce is what makes the walk look realistic. And one more detail I wished to experiment with was moving the character in the background. But as I also learned, just moving the character across the background is not enough. It'll look mechanic and boring if you do so. No, the solution is to make the background move with the character. As I did in my animation, the tree moves slightly out and back into the view with each frame. This is what makes the character look like it's moving through space. But walking isn't enough. You won't be able to only draw walking. Therefore, we need running. After I found this video, which is almost half a decade old, I practiced the run cycle. This one actually had me use anatomy, which I of course suffered because of. But again, we pushed through. As always, boring but necessary keyframes. All of you are lucky you do not have to witness the amount of redrawing it took me to get these frames right. Then duplicate the frames, which you may call me a cheater, but I'd rather work smarter, not harder, and use those shaded parts to make it look like I wanted to. And even though the video didn't explicitly say so, I wasn't satisfied, so I went out of my way to make the in-betweens on my own. And you may think, that's nothing new, you'll have to animate on your own anyways, but I'd say it's progress. Worry not, I'm proud of myself so you don't have to be. Now, last but not least, the one animation that made me suffer the most was the jump. Using this awesome video, which is the only properly explaining video I could find, I began creating. And let's repeat it once more. We'll start with the keyframes. Who would have guessed? Then we'll move on to the in-betweens for each 2 frames. I would say the video explained it amazingly. Starting from the standing point to the anticipation, this is the point where I began losing hope. Immediately we move on from the anticipation to the action, which is where I began thinking about giving up. The frames didn't look right, everything looked smudged, and I just didn't like it. But I was rushing and I had no time to restart, so I just moved on. And so I focused hard to finish the animation. Focused so hard in fact that I forgot I was making a video and didn't download the results of the animations in between keyframes. Whoopsie daisy. But at last, I got it done. I ended up deleting a few frames and speeding up the whole thing to bring us to our final result. It's alright. There's definitely room for improvement, but I would say as in my first time making animation like this, it was a good enough. But for now, that's all from me today. Please do forgive me for uploading this video later than I should. Last week was first semester finals, and I simply didn't have enough time to work on this video properly. Therefore, I had to rush it over the weekend. I'll work on this month's video properly, I swear. All the links to the videos I used this time will be down below in the description in case you want to check them out. And if you enjoyed seeing me do this, consider liking the video and subscribing. And while you're at it, you can go check out my Instagram and Tumblr. Remember to shine bright, my stars, and bye-bye!